Hello everyone, welcome back to another chapter, chapter 14, that is all about our dividend payment and repurchase decision by the company. Let's open our PowerPoint. So dividend and stock repurchase, these are the two forms the company can distribute its excess cash to the shareholders. And from this chapter, several important things we just need to know. Uh, that includes several theories of dividend payment and some mathematical models. So that's it. So by the definition, we need distribution policy includes level of cash distribution to shareholders, the form of the distribution, either dividend or buyback some share, stock repurchase, and the stability of the distribution. So these are the things included in the distribution policy. So mainly these are the some historical dividend payment across several companies over the year. And what else? So you see, industry wise, some dividend yield and dividend payout ratio. By the way, dividend yield and payout ratio, these are the two different things. When you scale your dividend payment by net income, then we call its payout ratio. And dividend yield is kind of a, simple rate of return. You just calculate return on your dividend amount with respect to the stock price. So that's the idea: dividend yield and payout ratio. Okay, so theories: do investors prefer high or low payout? Again, it depends what type of investors our company is dealing with. Broadly, there are three dividend theories, and theories actually are some statement, some science I can say, that guides how the company should pay and how the investors prefer to receive dividend or not receive dividend. So number one, dividends are irrelevant. The main idea of this theory is investors actually do not care about how much company pays dividend or not, because think simple idea: when company pays dividend, say $100 equivalent, company pays dividend to the shareholders, down in the road, the stock price will be reduced by that same amount, $100. So there is no difference between receiving dividend or not receiving dividend, because the amount company's shareholders is receiving in terms of dividend, shareholders are losing same amount in the stock price. So say company is not giving dividend, then company shareholder can make a dividend by selling some of its share. So dividends are irrelevant to the shareholder. This is one idea. Second one is dividend preference. I mean, birds in hand theory. Birds in hand theory, by the word, by the phrase, it means receiving dividend sooner is more preferred than receiving dividend in letters, because shareholders may think future earning of a company may be more volatile than the expected dividend amount may not be distributed from the company. So some kind of concern and risk associated with the long term earnings, future earnings. That's why company shareholder can expect, okay, instead of waiting, instead of looking at future earning, it's better to receive money right now. I can invest that money somewhere else. So that's the idea. And tax effect, investors prefer a low payout. Why? Because if investors receive dividend, companies receive dividend, then investors have to pay tax to the government. So it's better to not receive dividend right now, because in the long run, when your income will be lower, and if you take your dividend as your income, then you will pay less tax to the government, meaning you will have less cash outflow. So that's your a good strategy. So these are the three theories regarding dividend payment. And actually it depends on the investors who prepares or who does not prepare. Okay, you can read thoroughly either book or this PowerPoint slide, then you can have more clear idea. Okay, just see. Do we need to clientele effect? It depends on the group of investors, because there are several groups who prefer riskiness and other groups who prefer some stability in their earnings and dividend payment. For example, young people are more riskier. They can wait for future earnings. On the other hand, the old age people who are retired, they definitely prefer stability in their earnings, so they expect consistent dividend from the company. So this is the idea. And what else? Okay, so how much company needs to pay, how much company can pay, we can determine that amount by this formula. This is our residual model formula to calculate distributions paid. So distribution amount equal net income by net income minus target equity ratio time. It should be capital budgeting, not target equity ratio. So, it should be like this. Okay, so distribution net income minus required equity. So if we apply our numbers and use this model, then we can get the amount company can distribute to the shareholders. Okay, what else? Then another thing is stock repurchase. Company can pay its excess cash to the shareholders by buying share back. Instead of paying dividend, company can buy some share from the shareholders. Still, company shareholders will receive money in another form. So this is an alternative to distributing cash as dividend. Um, Either way, company has to pay. Company has to distribute cash to the shareholders, either dividend or repurchase. So if company buys back some of its share, then number of shares will be changed, because say previously company had 100 shares. If company buy back 10 share, now it should be 90 share. That's the idea. Several procedure. Okay, this is intrinsic value before distribution. Forget about before or after. So if we want to estimate the intrinsic value of any company, or intrinsic price of the share, then we just need to use this formula. And we have been using this formula uh, for a long time in another chapter. So again, we will be using this formula if we need it to solve our mathematical problem. Okay, I think pretty much. Oh, okay. So we can use this model to estimate number of post share when company buy back some shares. Okay. Okay. So the basic idea is, when company has some excess cash, company can use that excess cash to pay to the shareholders in terms of dividend or share repurchase. If company is not considering to pay its liability, so if company wants to pay its excess cash to the shareholders, so these are the two ways: dividend or repurchase. And let's see what. Okay, so from this chapter, I have selected seven problems. Those are some replication to the homeworks on Cengage. If you understand them clearly, then you will be able to answer your homeworks assignment and get the full marks. Okay, so to solve these problems, you need to understand residual distribution model that we already talked. Dividend payout, that's our amount of dividend by net income. Stock repurchase, meaning how much company buy back its share. Stock split, instead of keeping say 100 share, now company is going to make it a split, and maybe instead of 100, maybe 200, maybe 300, something like that. Just increasing the number of shares, everything will be same. That's the idea. Okay, so problem one, it says um, Packet Products is planning for 5 million in capital expenditure next year. Packet's target capital structure consists of 60% debt, 40% equity. If net income next year is 3 million, Packet follows a residual distribution model with all distribution as dividend. What will be its dividend payout ratio? So dividend payout ratio, again I am saying, it's the amount of dividend by net income. So okay, let's get the number from problem 1. Let me color it. What are the values we have? Capital expenditure is 5 million. Then debt is 40%. So if debt is 40%, then equity would be the remaining one. Equity would be 60%. Okay. Oh, sorry. Debt is 60%. Debt is 60%, then equity would be 40%. And the net income NI is 3 million. So these are the number we just get from our problem. Okay. Now we need to estimate this dividend amount using residual model. Again, if we go back to our PowerPoint slide, what's our residual model? This one. So net income distribution amount, say distribution amount equals net income minus minus what? Target equity ratio. Target equity ratio then times capital expenditure. You can just say capital expenditure. That's it. So just NI, this is our NI minus equity ratio, this is our minus star I put because mm, uh, if I just press negative sign, oh, it is working. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so distribution amount equal would be, if I remove the star, still it works. So distribution amount equal net income minus equity ratio times capital expenditure. So I'm just saying net income is this minus equity ratio is 40% times capital expenditure this. So think this is our total amount that amount of cash that company can pay in terms of dividend. So now what's our payout ratio? Payout ratio is what? Payout ratio is nothing, just the amount of dividend company can pay divided by net income. So if we make it in percentage form, it should be this. Sorry. Like this. So this is our answer. Now let's go to problem 2. The weak corporation expects next year net income is this. Firms is currently 40% debt, has 12 million dollar profitable investment opportunity. That's our total expenditure. It wishes to maintain its existing debt ratio according to decision. How much? So it is actually the same problem. So can I just copy and paste, change the number? How much is the capital expenditure? 12 million. What's the debt? 40% debt, so remaining would be 60%. How much is the net income? 15 million. 15 million. So this is our answer. Then problem 3. A firm has 10 million shares outstanding with a market price of $20 per share. 25 million in extra that it plans to use in a stock repurchase. The firm has no other financial investment or any debt. What is the firm's value of operation? How many shares will remain after repurchase? So okay, let's get the number from the number of shares, 10 million. Then market price is 20. Then extra cash or short invest is how much? 25 million. Okay, what's the firm's value of operations? Value of operation is equals equals number of shares times market price. So this is the value we got from our problem. So can I just say number of shares? This is number of shares, market price this, and excess cash. Excess cash meaning company will distribute this cash to buy back some of the shares. So then we just need to deduct this much. So this would be our, then deduct our excess cash, because this amount will be used to buy back some shares. So this would be our answer. Now value of the operation after buy back some shares. Then second problem is how many shares will remain after repurchase. Okay, so how many shares after repurchase would be just this by this, because the value of operation is this much and we have $20 per share. So just if I divide the value of operation by number of market price of the per share, then we can get this many shares company has after repurchase. So this is the idea. Okay, let's go to problem 4. Guardian Green Lights, manufacturer of energy efficient lighting solutions, has had success with its new products that it is planning to substantially expand its manufacturing capacity with a 15 million investment in new machinery. Okay, let's get the values from the problem. Okay, investment or investment, we can say it's capital expenditure is 15 million, and then debt ratio is 30%, then equity definitely would be 70%, and then net income NI is 8. So this number we just get from our problem, and seems like this is kind of dividend distribution. Can I just copy? No, this is something else. Okay, so distribution, let's calculate how much company can pay right now. So net income equals this minus equity ratio equity ratio is 70 times this much. So this is the amount company can pay dividend. So net income is 8 minus equity ratio is bracket 70 times capital expenditure. This is our 15 million. Oh, sorry, this is not 8, this should be 8 million. Okay, so this must actually, this is a negative figure, meaning company cannot pay any amount of cash dividend to the shareholders. So this is actually fall short. But then how to be the percentage by net income? So this is negative, mind it. This is negative. Company cannot pay any more dividend. But what it says, this year's net income was 8 million. How much external equity? To maintain its dividend policy, in which at the end of each year it distributes 55% of the dividend. So can you just say what would be our 55% dividend on net income? So net income is this times this. So this would be the amount if company wants to maintain this 55% dividend payout ratio, but company already fall short of 2.5 million, then how much company needs to finance? So total amount of external finance would be this and this. And actually we need to, since it is negative figure, we need to like this. So this much would be needed for external financing. This is the answer. Okay, let's go to problem 5. Suppose you want 2000 common shares of Lawrence Incorporated. The EPS is this, DPS is this, and then stock price is this. Lawrence announces a 2-for-1 split, meaning if company has, how many shares it has? 2000 shares, then it split 2-for-1, meaning now share would be 4000. That's the idea. Okay, so let's get the values from the problem. Number of shares is 2000, then EPS is 10, then DPS is 3, stock price is 80, and then what else? Split is 2. So this number I just get from the problem. You can change based on your problem. Now what are the questions? Immediately after the split, how many shares? Number of shares, don't know. Then adjusted EPS, adjusted EPS, adjusted DPS, adjusted, oh, these three. Adjusted EPS, DPS, and stock price. Stock price. We don't know these 4 items. Number of share. So if right now number of share is 2000 and company is going to split, meaning one share company is going to make it 2. So then number of shares times this should be the number of shares after splitting. Adjusted EPS. So if EPS is $10, after splitting it would be $5. If DPS is 3, after splitting it would be 1.5. $1.50. Stock price if now $80, after it will be $40. So this is the answer. Okay, let's get to problem 6. Forward Enterprises declared a 3 for 1 stock split last year. This year, its dividend is 1.5, $1.50 per share. This total dividend payout represents 6% increase over the last year pre-split total dividend payout. What was last year's dividend per share? Okay, let's get the value. DPS is $1.50. Stock split is 3. Then growth rate is how much? 6%. So this number we just get from our problem. Now, what would be equivalent share now? Consider after splitting now share is $1.50. So what would be previous share, I mean equivalent share, if there was no splitting? It would be $1.50 times 3. So this would be equivalent share. And company says, the problem says this $4.50 equivalent share actually is a combination of 6% growth. Then what would be the share, DPS last year? Last year DPS would be, say, this divided by 1 plus this. So this is the answer. How is that? Because consider this year last year dividend, say, so equivalent share now, this year, I should say this year. So previously was 4.25 cent, now is $4.50. So if you see, the growth rate is exactly 6%, and I just did the backwards solving. This is our answer. Now go to our next problem. Let's solve 7. Okay, so Bayani Bakery's most recent free cash flow was 48 million. FCF was expected to grow at 6%. Weighted average cost of capital 12%. It has 15 million shares of common stock outstanding. Firm has 30 million short-term investment, which it plans to liquidate and distribute to common shareholders via stock repurchase. Meaning, the company is not going to pay dividend, but it will pay in terms of buyback share. Okay, so let's get the values from the problem. FCF is 48 million. Growth rate is 6%. Weighted average cost of capital is how much? 12%. Number shares is 15 million. 15 millions. Short-term investment is 30 million. And then what else? Debt 368 million. Then preferred stock is 60 million. So these are the number we just get from our problem. Now what's the value of operation? Okay, so value of operation If we go back to our PowerPoint slide, we can just get here. Can you just copy and paste it here? Okay. So value of operation is, if you consider our dividend growth, constant dividend growth model, Gordon model, we can estimate value of operation. So this is our value of operation. So green color. Value of operation equal FCF times growth rate 1 plus. This is our growth rate divide weighted average cost minus growth rate. So this is our value of operation. So part 1 is done. Immediately prior to the repurchase, what is the intrinsic value of the equity? Intrinsic value of the equity would be this. This is our intrinsic price. Intrinsic price of stock. Short-term investment is how much? Is this total value? Then total value would be this plus this. And now debt. Debt is how much? This. It has also preferred stock. So can I say preferred stock? Preferred stock is how much? This is preferred stock. So how much would be the equity only? So this minus this minus this. This is our intrinsic value of the equity. So number of share is how much? Number of share is, this one is number of share. So then how much would be per share? So this $30. $30 would be the intrinsic price, or intrinsic value of equity would be this one, and then intrinsic stock price would be this $30. I can make it in a dollar sign. Okay. So part 1, 2 and 3 done. How many shares will be repurchased? How many shares will remain after repurchase? How many shares will be repurchased? How much company will spend for buying back some shares? Firm has 30 million in short-term investment, which it plans to liquidate and distribute to common shareholders via stock repurchase. So this amount will be used to buy back share. Then how many shares? If $30 is the per share price, then how many would be number of shares? Number of, I can say, number of share repurchase. Can I just say this amount would be used to buy back share? Then how much per share? So this is our 1 million share company can buy back. So this is the first part of part 4. Then how many shares will remain? It's easy, right? Because number of shares, it was 15 million. Previously it was 15 million. Now 1 million share actually company buy back. Then how much would be the remaining? So this minus this. So this would be the number of shares after repurchase. Okay. Now part 5. Immediately after repurchase, what is the intrinsic value of equity? The intrinsic stock price. So again, two part: intrinsic value of equity and intrinsic price of the stock. So see, after repurchase, then what happened in this model? First thing, this $30 million gone, zero. And now after repurchase, how many share would be? 14 million, or 14 million, I mean, from there. So now this 30. So 30 and value of the equity is this. I should write value of equity, intrinsic price of equity, intrinsic value of equity. So this all from this chapter. Good luck to your homeworks and quizzes on this chapter. Still, if you need any help, if you face any difficulty to incorporate these changes with respect to your problem, let me know. Thank you.